Introduction. Welcome to the 10-Minute Book Club. Today, we're diving into The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, a deeply moving and thought-provoking novel about regrets, choices, and the infinite possibilities of life. If you've ever wondered what might have happened if you'd made a different decision or taken another path, this book explores exactly that. It's a story of second chances, self-acceptance, and discovering what truly makes life worth living. Let's unlock the doors to the Midnight Library. Section 1. Setting the scene. The story begins with Nora Seed, a 35-year-old woman living in Bedford, England. Her life is unraveling. She's recently lost her job at a music shop, estranged herself from her brother, cancelled her wedding, and lost her cat, Voltaire. Overwhelmed by regret and despair, Nora feels her life is meaningless and decides to end it. Instead of death, Nora finds herself in a surreal library that exists between life and death. This library, called the Midnight Library, is filled with infinite books. Each one represents a different version of Nora's life, every life she could have lived if she had made different choices. The librarian, Mrs. Elm, Nora's childhood librarian, acts as her guide. She explains that Nora has the opportunity to explore these alternate lives and perhaps find one she wants to live permanently. But the clock is ticking. Nora can't stay in the library forever. Section 2. Exploring regret. At the heart of the story is Nora's Book of Regrets, a massive volume cataloging every decision she wishes she'd made differently. Nora is haunted by countless what-ifs. 1. What if she hadn't quit swimming, a sport she excelled in as a teenager? 2. What if she had pursued her dream of becoming a glaciologist? 3. What if she had stayed in her band and toured the world? 4. What if she had married Dan, her ex-fiancé? The library offers Nora the chance to explore these lives, to step into them as though they were her own. At first, it seems exciting, an opportunity to fix her mistakes. Section 3. The lives she could have lived. Nora begins her journey through the alternate lives. 1. In one life, she becomes an Olympic swimmer. 1. Though she's successful, she discovers she's lonely and estranged from her family. 1. Success doesn't equate to happiness. 2. In another life, she becomes a glaciologist and fulfills her dream of studying climate change in the Arctic. 2. While intellectually fulfilling, this life is isolating and dangerous. 3. In a life where she stays in her band, the Labyrinths, she becomes a famous musician. 3. However, the glamour is overshadowed by personal sacrifices and unfulfilling relationships. 4. In yet another life, she marries Dan and runs a countryside pub. 4. What seemed like an idyllic dream turns out to be a nightmare as Dan's personality and ambitions clash with her own. Each life teaches Nora something new, but none feels right. She starts to see that success, fame, and even love aren't guarantees of happiness. Section 4. The lives she touched. As Nora navigates these lives, she also gains a deeper understanding of how her choices impact others. For example, 1. In her root life, she regrets not pursuing her dream of being a glaciologist. 1. But in the alternate life where she does, she discovers her actions indirectly led to a colleague's death. 2. In her life as a famous musician, she realizes that fame alienates her from her brother, Joe. 2. She learns he struggles with substance abuse in this timeline because she wasn't there for him. These revelations show Nora that life isn't just about her regrets, it's about how her presence shapes the lives of others. Section 5. The philosophy of happiness. Mrs. Elm helps Nora reflect on the lessons she's learning. One of the library's key ideas is that no life is perfect. Every life contains its own mix of joy and pain, fulfillment and disappointment. Nora realizes she's been chasing a version of perfection that doesn't exist. One of the most powerful moments comes when Nora steps into a life where she stayed in Bedford and never made any ambitious choices. Surprisingly, she finds happiness in this simple existence, teaching piano lessons and living close to her family. It's a humbling reminder that happiness isn't always tied to extraordinary achievements. Section 6. The Climax. The Root Life Revisited. The story reaches its emotional peak when Nora begins to see the value in her original life, the root life she was so desperate to escape. She reflects on small, overlooked joys. 1. The way her cat used to curl up in her lap. 2. The kindness of Mrs. Elm when she was a child. 3. Her connection with her brother, Joe, before they drifted apart. When she returns to the library, it begins to collapse. Mrs. Elm explains that the Midnight Library exists only while Nora is caught between life and death. If she truly wishes to live, she must make a decision. In a powerful act of self-acceptance, Nora chooses to return to her root life, not to escape regrets, but to embrace the possibilities it still holds. Section 7. The message of the story. Back in her original life, Nora wakes up in her own body. She's alive and has a new perspective on the world. She reconnects with her brother, makes peace with her past, and starts to see beauty in the ordinary. The Midnight Library offers an uplifting message: life isn't defined by grand achievements or the absence of mistakes. Instead, it's shaped by how we respond to our circumstances and find meaning in our choices. Nora learns that regret is a natural part of being human, but it doesn't have to define her. The only way forward is to live fully and authentically in the present. Conclusion. The Midnight Library, by Matt Haig, is a deeply inspiring book about the beauty of imperfection and the power of choice. It reminds us that every life has value, and that even small actions can create ripples of joy and connection. Thank you for joining the 10-Minute Book Club. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. What's your what-if moment? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.